I'm Craig with REA, and today we're going to be doing a session on tips and tricks for Microsoft Excel. One of the first things that I find really useful in Excel, and this is fairly common if you're opening up CSV files, comma-separated value files that aren't formatted in Excel. When Excel opens them up, it opens them up with the standard column height width and a row height. And you can see here on my screen, you can't even read what's in these cells. So rather than grabbing each one individually and dragging it, there's a much simpler way to format the spreadsheet. You can highlight all of the columns and rows by clicking between the A and the 1. So if you look on my screen, you'll see a red dot. Right there is what I'm talking about. Right between the A and the 1, there's a little box. And if you click in that box, it will highlight the entire spreadsheet. All you have to do with the entire spreadsheet highlighted is click between any letter, like between the A and the B, or between the B and the C, or anywhere, or you can click between any row. And when you double click, that'll automatically reformat the whole spreadsheet, column by column, and it'll do the same for the rows. If I double click between a row, it'll format all of the rows. So a simple trick to get everything the right size: just highlight the whole spreadsheet, double-click between the rows and between the columns. If you want to format multiple cells or rows, you can do that by holding down the Control key. So for example, if I wanted to make this cell and 3 others all yellow, I can hold down the Control key and click on the ones I want to change, and then make whatever change I want. Change them to bold, change them to underline, change them to italic, change them to yellow. And that works as well with rows and columns. So for example, if you want to highlight, if you want to change this whole column and this one, you can hold down the Control key to highlight multiple columns and then make whatever change you want to make. And it will affect all of the highlighted. Same with rows. Hold down the Control key, and you can change multiple rows at the same time. All of the Office products have an extended clipboard now. And what clipboards do is let you memorize information and reuse it. For example, I could click this 644, right-click and say copy. Everyone knows how to do that. Then I could go up here, right-click and say paste. But the problem with that is when I paste something in, I'm only pasting one value in. What if I had selected this information here and copied it, and then I selected this information over here and I copied it, and did something down here, copied that, and now I'd like to go back and paste something that I did 5-10 minutes ago. Well, in Office, that means Excel, Word, Outlook, the clipboard is extended. So if you look under the ribbons at the top here of Excel, there's a ribbon on the side that says Home. And under the Home ribbon, there's a button that says Paste. And down below that is Clipboard with a little arrow pointing off to the side. As a matter of fact, every ribbon now has these little arrows to the side, meaning that if you click one of these arrows, you'll get an extended menu of that ribbon. So under Clipboard, I'm going to click that arrow, and you'll notice it opens up a clipboard for me. And it remembered all of the different things that I'd copied from all of the different places in Windows, not just in Excel. So if I wanted to do a paste down here of something I did a while back, I can click that clipboard, and in here, I can just right-click on this and say paste, or I could say delete to get this out of the clipboard in case I wanted to make room for other things. Anytime that you want to paste something that you'd highlighted earlier, or if you're trying to do a number of different pastes, remember, go to the Home ribbon, click the arrow on the clipboard to open up the clipboard, and then paste that. And all of these things will be available in Word and in all the Office products. PowerPoint, every Office product has the same clipboard available, so remember that's always there. Sometimes I find it's useful to transpose information, meaning that right now this is in order by factory. But what I'd rather have is I'd rather have this column be the dates, and I'd rather have the factories be across the top. That's called transposing. To transpose information in Excel is very simple. Highlight the table you want to transpose. So I'm going to start at factory, and I'm just going to drag my mouse and highlight the whole table. Copy that to memory. You copy it by right-clicking and saying copy. Put your mouse where you want the new table to be. You can't overwrite the existing table, so you got to go somewhere else on the spreadsheet. I'm going to go right down here to cell B18. Then under the paste menu, not the paste button, but the menu where the arrow is, go down to where it says transpose, and it looks like a little arrow shifting. And you notice what it did. It took all the dates and put them in the column, and it took all the factories and put them as across the row. So once again, to do that is all I did was highlight the table that I wanted to copy it, go to a new spot on the spreadsheet, click the arrow under paste, and click the transpose button, which looks like two arrows. If you look at it, it makes sense. It looks like it's switching them. Now I can get rid of this table altogether if I want to, because the other one's not relying on it. Doesn't seem that useful right now, but you'll be in situations where you want to change columns and rows, and it's great when you need it. Another trick I like to use is splitting the windows. Oftentimes my spreadsheets are really long, and I need to see the bottom of the spreadsheet and the top of the spreadsheet. And there's a very easy way to split the windows. Go to the ribbon. Let me turn on my highlighter here. Go to the ribbon called View. It's this one right here that says View on it. That'll switch your ribbons down below. And inside there, look for New Window. It's right here. And after you click New Window, you have the option to split these. You can split them side by side, or you can split them just in half. And those are using the split menus over here and over here. This will also let you scroll synchronously. So what I'm going to do is ask the new window to split side by side. The icons here, because my screen's a little bit crushed right now. If I had this spreadsheet bigger, you'd actually see the word side by side, but you can see the book. It looks like two books side by side. And when I click that, it tells me all of the different spreadsheets that I have open. One of them is Excel Tips and Tricks #1. That's because I clicked New Window, and then I can say OK, and that will split them for me. The other thing that's nice about this is I can have them be synchronized. So as I'm moving, they both move. I can also turn that off. Synchronize is just a checkbox I can turn on or off. You can pretty much split the windows any way you want just by going to this view and using side by side. You can split them up and down and turn scrolling on and off, and you can also hide windows. Opening multiple spreadsheets or worksheets. Quite often I work in 4 or 5 spreadsheets all at the same time. And then I have to go home or I have to do something else and I have to close Excel. But I'm going to want to reopen up all 5 of those spreadsheets again tomorrow or the next day. You can actually tell Excel to save your layout, just like you do in REA when you quit REA and all your windows stay. Well, here's how it works. First thing I'm going to do is just show you that I have some windows open, so let me arrange these. You see I have all these windows open. These are all separate spreadsheets. Tomorrow when I come in, I want these all to open up the same way. So here's the trick. Go to the View menu and click the button on the right that says Save Workspace. What that's doing is located and what their sizes are. Excel will ask you for a name of this. I'm going to call it my spreadsheet. You can call it whatever you want, and I'm going to put it on my desktop so I can find it real easily. You can, of course, put it anywhere you want and say Save. Okay, so now I'm just going to close Excel down. Tomorrow when I come in, here's my little save spreadsheet thing. I just double-click that, and Excel reopens, but it reopens all 4 of my spreadsheets for me in exactly the same location as they were in before. A really handy trick to use. Converting formulas to numbers. Oftentimes, I'll have a set of numbers as I do here under column K. These are just random numbers I typed in. Next to that, in column L, I created a formula, which was 0.25 times this cell. So let's actually do that. Some of you may not know how to do a formula. I'm just going to go to this cell, and I'm going to type the equals sign. Equals is telling Excel this is a formula. Now I put in my formula, which is 0.25. I hit the times key, which is the capital 8. You could hit plus, minus, divide, whatever. And then I click on the cell right next to it, which says multiply whatever's in this cell by 0.25. I press enter, and I get the value. Now I want to copy that all the way down. I want all of these to be 0.25% of whatever the number is. So I highlight this cell, and I copy it. Then I highlight all the way down, and I paste. And I can actually just press enter. I don't even have to use the menus. Now you see what happened is every one of these cells got that same formula in them. Next to that, I did a second formula which says take what's in L and subtract it from what's in K and give me the answer. Now that I've done that, I don't want this column anymore. So if I delete that column, it messes up all these numbers. Watch on column M, the 150 is going to change. Everything changes because it's subtracting 0 from 200. That's not what I wanted. So the trick is you have to convert the formulas to numbers before you can get rid of something that they rely on. It's real easy to do. Highlight the column and copy it. I right-click and I say copy. Under the paste button, click the down arrow and use the values, which is just the 1, 2, 3 on the clipboard. Now if you look in these cells, you notice the formulas are all gone and they just put numbers in there. So now I can get rid of this and it won't affect my numbers. They're not formulas anymore. How to sort columns. So this is a really nice feature in Excel that they put in recently. Let's say I wanted to sort this entire chart by the numbers that are under March, the E column. So I want it to start with the lowest number and work its way down to the highest number. There's a really simple way to sort now. Click the header of the column you want to sort, and then under the data ribbon, which is right here in the middle, you can click the A to Z down arrow or the Z to A. Z to A says put the highest, in this case, number at the top and the lowest at the bottom. This one says put the lowest number at the top and the highest at the bottom. So you notice because I have March selected, it will sort this entire thing by March. And all of these things, all the factories will change to line up with the numbers in March. So now I've got the smallest amount in March down to the largest amount in March. Notice it didn't mess around with my subtotals. These are pretty smart arrows. They understand when you have a total that that's a summation at the bottom, not to sort that. It understands that the top row is the title, not to sort that. And it understands to expand your selection from that to the entire section and sort everything. So once again, you just click the first column, header, and then click your arrow, and everything will be sorted in your table for you without doing all the selecting and the sorting, and then in the sorting, selecting all these columns and all that jazz. That's a lot more work. If you want to see formulas in your spreadsheet, and sometimes I need to see the formulas. So for example, I want to know what formula is in here to make that 50, what formula is in here to make the 150. And if I click on them, I can see the formulas up here. But I'd have to click on every single cell, and I don't want to do that. I just want to see the formulas. The trick is hold down the Control key. Control key on your keyboard is CTRL, and click the tilde. What's the tilde? It's usually next to the 1. It looks like a little wavy thing. It looks like that. It's usually the first key on your keyboard, but it doesn't have to be. So you'll have to find the tilde. But if you hold down the Control key and hit the tilde, that automatically converts everything if there's a formula and shows it. So here's all my formulas. Over here are all my formulas. Over here are all my formulas. I haven't lost any of the numbers. It's just displaying formulas. If I want to get back to my regular spreadsheet, I do the same thing, Control tilde, and that puts it right back. So that's just a way of quickly being able to see all your formulas in your spreadsheet. When you have a problem somewhere, you can quickly figure out how to fix it and turn it off again. The last thing I'll show you today, and then I'll let you go, is how to do formatting without doing formulas. For example, in here I've said I want to multiply 0.25 times the value in K. So I created a column for that. But now I've got to deal with this formula issue, which we talked about earlier. I could have just highlighted these, copied them, then gone to the Home menu, and under Paste, said Paste Special. I have a whole bunch of options in there. For example, I could paste a formula into that cell. I could paste in values into that cell. I could paste formats, and I can also do division and multiplication. So the way I got to this screen again was by hitting Paste and Paste Special. That gives me basically all of these with some extra options on it, so I can do things like math. And one bonus tip I'll give you that I find pretty useful is being able to change formats. So for example, if I format this cell, right-click on it, say Format, I want to align it left, or I want to align it right, let's say. Yeah. And I want to put it in the center, and I'd like it to be a currency format. I'd like it to be 2 decimals. I'd like to have a border around it, and I'd like to fill it with green. Okay, that was a lot of work. I want to do that for other cells. You can do that with Excel. Here's the trick. Under the Home ribbon, there's a little icon that looks like a little paintbrush. If you click that, it memorizes the current format of the cell that you're on. So I'm on this cell right here. It's not going to memorize the number. It's going to memorize the formatting. It's bold. It's a certain font. It's green. It's got a box around it. That's formatting. So if I touch that and click the painter button, now I can click any other cell, and it will automatically convert that cell to the exact same formatting. When I do that, it turns off the painter. So the next thing I click, it doesn't happen to. So if I wanted to do that to 4 or 5 cells, I could highlight the cell I want to copy the format for, click the painter button, and don't let go of the mouse. Just move it around until you get the cells you want to change. You can also double-click the painter. If you double-click the paint icon, it leaves the paint on. It leaves the paintbrush on. So I'm going to double-click, and now when I go to a cell, you notice the paintbrush doesn't turn off. So I can actually do multiple cells and let them all get formatted. And then I hit Escape to turn it off. You can take it further, and you can say, okay, I would like this to be italics. I'd like this to be yellow. I'd like this to be green. I'd like this to be bold. And I'd like this to be a font of 18. Okay, so I highlight all of those by just dragging my mouse, and I click the paintbrush. Now I highlight everything else, and it automatically converts every single column to match the ones up above. So that paint tool is a real good one. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I hope you all have a great holiday. Hope you spread the word about REA. We're doing very, very well, and a lot of it's because of you guys. We really appreciate the support. And next year we hope to have an even better year than we did this year. We're working on a lot of new things. And thanks again. Hope you have a great holiday and everybody's doing well. Bye-bye.